Hello everyone, it's me again. Decided to make a video to kind of just give a bit of a life update. Now, I don't really have any plans for what this video is going to be about. I just wanted to have kind of, I guess, like a chat to reintroduce what this channel is about. And so long story short, just to save you hours, I've decided to commit to this. Committing to the psychic work and the spiritual development education and all of that kind of stuff. I have recently found myself in a very peculiar position where let's just say like the universe thrust me into a new direction. Previously I've been working in the tree industry for 6 years. The last couple of years has been as a contract climber, which is someone who, well, businesses would call me who need their trees cut, and I would climb them, and then I would give them an invoice at the end of the day. That's essentially what I was doing. And it was a thing that I was wanting to do for many, many years. It was definitely a manifestation of mine. And, you know, I know that when I began in the tree industry, my entire goal was I wanted to be a contract climber, and I wanted to be able to set my own rate and work my own days, and then, you know, work 4 or 5 days a week, and then spend the rest of the time trying to succeed at music, or trying to succeed at doing psychic work and all this kind of stuff. And without realizing it, I got to where I wanted. So for the past, since about July last year, since February last year, I've been climbing, doing that exact thing, and life has been really good. I'm healthy, life is good, all my houseplants are doing well, my dogs are doing well, my band has been making significant progress where I hadn't in the past. Just everything's been fantastic. And, you know, I've been making plans, been doing all this kind of stuff, and then out of nowhere, things just kind of got flipped on their head. And I wasn't sure why. I kind of got one of the main people that I worked for, and I'm just gonna say I did a brilliant job of running his business, turned on me out of nowhere. And it was very unexpected, and I didn't know why, and it took me a bit of time to understand it, until I realized that it was me who thrust it into motion in the first place. And so, to kind of run you through what has happened recently, and so I'll quickly just address why I stopped making content. I stopped making content because it felt like it became a bit of a chore. I was doing trees and trying to hit the gym and trying to meal prep and walk my dogs twice a day, and, you know, do music and create content, and I was always just on the go and on the go and on the go, and it was very fatiguing. Like by the end of the week, I needed a lot of rest, and I really just burnt myself out, I think. And it's very difficult to make content where you're trying to, you know, teach or advise certain philosophies and practices when you're struggling to do them yourself. Like I'd have bouts where I'd be killing it, and then I'd burn myself out and, you know, just crash, you know what I mean? And with what I'm trying to do with this channel, which is share psychic information and share spiritual development information, and hopefully help people get themselves out of negative situations in their lives and be able to grow and find hope and believe in themselves and learn how to create their own realities for themselves, rather than just living someone else's reality that's been created for them, like working the office job and binge watching TV and eating terrible food and all this kind of stuff. Like, I want people to find that love within themselves, and I want them to chase it, and I want them to take that path that they're scared to take, and take it all the way to the other side until they're living the dream that they want to live. And the way that we do this is through development of the psychic senses, being able to learn these non-physical languages that we're constantly entranced with, that we may have just put the blinders onto instead. learning how to assess and read what happens in the dream state and how to apply it into your life in a real way and bring an actual validity to all of these things that we're commonly told to dismiss. And so it was very difficult for me when I was previously making content because I was really struggling to keep up with it. And I feel like this is something that needs to be consistently brought out, constantly have to talk about these things, constantly have to have these discussions. And without being able to do that consistency, and again, like, I'm the kind of person who needs to be I'm all or nothing when it comes to this kind of stuff. And because I couldn't put my all into it, I decided to just do none of it. And so things were going fantastic. Making lots of money, working short days, doing what I wanted, running a crew, having lots of laughs, everything was going fantastic. And then out of nowhere, things just turned to absolute shit before me. And don't get me wrong, they could have been amended, but I have a very, very strong sense of self-respect. And if someone disrespects me in the way that I got disrespected a number of weeks ago, like there's no turning back from that stuff. And so I'll give you a quick run through of just what has happened recently. And it all started at the beginning of April. And so long story short, I was at work and the boss came up to me, the guy who contracted me in, and he randomly started asking me about just stuff to do with my band, which he never does. And I was like, oh, okay, like, cool, we'll have a conversation about metal, I guess. And, I was telling him about, well, I had never, this is where it begins. And it's important that you kind of pay attention to what I talk about in this point, because the purpose that I've brought this channel back is because I kind of want to use it as a platform for me to document the psychic intuitions that I have and the manifestations that I'm planting, and then proving that it works. That's the whole point of the channel at this point in time. I want to prove that these practices that I want to teach you actually work. That's the whole point of this, because it's one thing for someone to succeed in their life and to say, oh, well, all you need to do is this, 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 and this. Whereas it's a completely different thing for someone like myself in the position that I'm currently in, who is yet to succeed at the things that I'm going to talk about, and then to prove that by using these techniques, you can actually achieve the things that you're wanting to visualize and manifest. And so this all began on April 1st. And before this, I was doing a lot of manifestation. I was doing a lot of visualizing and meditating upon wanting to have a successful music career. And this is something that I've wanted for a very long time, but I've never really believed in my ability to achieve until kind of recently, now that I can sing and play guitar the way that I want to and just produce music the way that I want to hear it. Prior to now, I couldn't quite articulate the sonic visions that I was having. But so it's always been one of these things where I've always kind of sugar-coated the reality of me actually achieving a successful music career. And so randomly working on this April day, and out of nowhere he asks me about my music. And I was like, oh, okay, random conversation to just talk about metal. And as he was talking to me, I don't know why, well, I do know why, sorry. I won't say I don't know why, I do know why. But I got a very big intuitive desire to tell him that I was planning on quitting the tree industry at some point to pursue music, because that's what I want to do. And I'd never said this to him before. I'd never said this to anyone before, really. It was always a case of, oh, I'd like to succeed in music. I'd like to do this. I'd like to do this. But in this very moment, and this is due to the manifestation techniques that I was using earlier, which I'll make an entire video on. Probably the next video I'll make, I'll do on these manifestation techniques. But the all of a sudden, due to these manifestation techniques I was using, having a conversation, and out of nowhere, I just felt the need, I felt compelled is the word I'll use, to tell him that I plan on leaving trees to pursue music at some point in my time. And because he relies on me to kind of run his business for him on the tools, this is, you know, something that I felt I needed to be honest about. And so I said to him, I was like, look, man, like, I don't have any shows happening at the moment, but I'm building a studio at my house and I'm doing all this kind of stuff because I plan to become a musician for a living, and I can't go and do this and come back and cut trees or try and run your business for you. Like, it's not something that works together. I can't go on a tour and meet other musicians and say, oh, hey, do you guys live in Melbourne and do you have trees that you need cut for when we come back and I can do the work? I was like, no, I need to be able to start developing new sources of income that align with music, such as producing music, recording music, all that kind of stuff. And as soon as I said this to him, he had this he got this twitch in his eye, and I could tell that the relationship between us had changed immediately. And he was, he's like, oh, cool, like all good, da 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 da. And every single time I've ever spoken about my desire to succeed as a musician, I've always followed it up by sugarcoating the expectations of saying, oh, but it's not going to happen for ages. It's not going to happen for ages. It's really difficult. It's not going to happen for ages. And I went to say, but this isn't going to happen for a long time to him. And as I said it, it's like the words could not come out of my mouth. Like I couldn't actually conjure them up. It was like every cell within my body was preventing me from saying these words. And mid-conversation, I just got stuck and I didn't know what to say because I couldn't get it out. And it was such a profound experience to me to be prevented from talking. It was very unexpected. And so I ended up going home after we finished work and had my journal, and I felt the need to write about it. I've even got it right here, come to think of it. Where are we? April 1st. Here we go. Where are we? So I've written 1 million pages on this, and this is what I mean, like this is another form of manifestation. Let's have a look. There's, it's like my body wouldn't allow me to because it's not true. Right? I've written it here. He seemed worried. I told him not to stress, for this won't happen for some time. But as I went to say that, it was like my body wouldn't allow me to because it's not true. Right? So this is very, I document everything in my life because I feel it's very important. Just as I'm making these videos, this is kind of like an online journaling kind of thing. And so as I went home, I wrote this, right? And I wrote, I think, maybe 4 pages, right? I wrote 4 pages about this, talking about how I couldn't get these words out because it's not true that it's not going to happen anytime soon. The reality is that this can happen as soon as I want it to. I just need to focus upon it and make it happen. And so I wrote 4 pages in the book, and after those 4 pages, I look at my phone and I randomly receive a gig offer from someone that I don't even really know. I think we played a show together at some point a number of years ago, and he remembered us and just asked me if I wanted to play this gig. And he asks us if there was another band called Coffin Carousel that he asked us to play with. And I was like, yeah, sure, sounds good. And then within a couple of moments, he's like, oh, okay, they pulled out. It's actually just you now, so you'll be headlining, and I don't have any other bands. So I'm going to have to and I'm not going to be there because I'm working, and you guys kind of just have to sort this thing out. And I'm like, oh, okay, well, is it worth putting this show on if that's the case? And I opted to just not do the gig because it seemed like a headache. And he's like, no, we'll make it happen. We'll make it happen. And I was like, all right, we'll make it happen. And so after this, I ended up going for a walk because I was like, this is very peculiar. The fact that I couldn't conjure up the words to say that my music career isn't going to happen for a while, and then going home and writing about it, saying that it will happen as soon as I want it to, and then as soon as I finish writing that, I get a random gig offer out of nowhere. I was like, this is very peculiar. Like I'm gonna go for a walk and just think about this. And so I was walking the dogs and I was meditating and contemplating about, what methods I could go about in order to make this happen. And just randomly, I felt the need to go on a different walk. I'd never walked this way before. And I started coming up with these ideas where I was like, oh man, like, wouldn't it be cool if I what other things could I do to try and like make money, or at least like create some kind of career that is not based upon physical labor, so I can do it online or like anything like that. And I was like, oh man, it would be cool to like, because one of the things I've always felt is that, people always complain about there not being a scene or not doing this and not doing that. And I was like, well, why don't we just make the scene? Like, rather than waiting for someone else to do the thing that I want, why don't I try to make the scene? Why don't I do everything that I can? Why don't I involve myself in the metal scene more? Why don't I be more active? Why don't I contribute to it and try and lead by example to try and build it up and bring more awareness to it online? So I came up with this idea where I was like, oh, well, how about I start like a YouTube channel where I like interview local bands, and could even potentially start a different podcast. And because, I was thinking about the Redefining Spirituality podcast, and I was like, well, it didn't feel right because I was trying to like focus on this niche spiritual community, whereas what I'm talking about, it's not necessarily about spirituality that I'm on about. I want to talk about creativity in general. I want to talk about psychic development in general, which is not a spiritual thing. It is something that we all have. It just falls under the spiritual umbrella. But, I want to talk about playing metal and music and creativity and art and expressing ourselves as humans. It's not about spirituality at all. It's about having fun and experiencing. And I was like, it would be cool to like rebrand the podcast and rebrand all this kind of stuff and be involved in the music scene, because that's what I love to do. And I came up with this idea for this other channel to be called Hallowed Out, which is a play on my old band name, which is Wolves Among the Hallow, which is essentially a name that I came up with, which the meaning of it is kind of like wolves. So Hallow is like a holy, sacred kind of being, and the wolves meaning like the protectors. So it's like the protectors of the holy was kind of like the meaning of the band, but no one could remember it. It always got written incorrectly on flyers and all that kind of stuff. But then I was like, that'll be cool, like if I call it Hallowed Out, like it's still in the spiritual realm, but it's still kind of like, it's a bit more modern and contemporary, and it ties in with the werewolf thing, like is in my band, and just everything I'm trying to do. It's much more an expression of myself rather than me trying to like fit a particular bracket or demographic, you know what I mean? So, and as I'm thinking about this and I'm coming up with all these ideas, I'm like, oh, that could be cool. It could be like a podcast. We could do like live music, and we could interview bands, could do all this and that. And then that ties in with like, the band thing, and everything's kind of happening, and, couldn't say the words, and then I wrote about them, and all this stuff was going through my head. And I won't get into the backstory of this, but for the longest time, owls, as in the bird, have been a very present thing in my life. It's always been a bit of I've always been a bit skeptical about it, but not at the same time. Like it's not something that I would believe, that I would expect someone else to believe. But I definitely know that in some of the most difficult times in my life, where I've been under the most confusion and trying to find the answers for things, when I've stumbled across the answer in my own consciousness, in my own thought process, I'll always be doing it like when I'm walking or something and just thinking. Whenever I come across the answer that makes sense, all of a sudden an owl will appear somewhere, like on the power lines or in a tree, or like they always just appear at very, very, very particular times in my life when I'm looking for an answer. And as I'm coming up with all this stuff, I hear this noise above me after walking a completely strange way, and I look up and there's two owls on the power line looking down at me. And it was like, okay, this is a sign. Like if there is a sign, this is definitely it. I definitely feel it. And so I ended up going home, and I was just like, okay, like it feels like this is happening for a reason, but I don't quite understand it. And I really don't feel comfortable going back to work after this dude disrespected me to the degree that he did. And, and I was just thinking about it. I was like, man, I don't like, I felt like I achieved what I wanted to in tree work. Like I got to the level that I wanted to be at, and that there's no really like going up from where I was. The next option is to start my own company myself, but I don't want to because it's not the thing that I'm passionate about. And that's the entire point of everything that I'm making here. It's like, do what you're passionate about. Don't subscribe and don't limit yourself to just doing something for money. It's not what we're here to do. Like, you need to express yourself to the fullest of your capability. And for me, that's music and psychic development and spirituality. Those are the three things that I care about. And when it came to trees, like I used that as a tool. I got to where I wanted to, and I realized that I had reached what I wanted to do. I was working 4 to 5 days, contract climbing, doing all the shit. And it was like I had complete the arborist quest, is what it felt like. Like I had gotten to where I wanted to be, and I got it. And so I'm sitting at home and I'm like, well, fuck, like, what do I do instead? Like, I don't know. I don't want to go back. I refuse to go back. Just as I felt unable to say those words when I went to say them to him, my body is also giving me the same exact feeling toward working for this person again. And so I was in thought, and I was like, okay, well, what do I want to do? What am I going to do for money? I'm stressed out. Like, I don't actually have anything in my bank account. I have like less than $2,000 in cash at the moment. And I was thinking about, sorry, so just quickly, a month went by in between the conversation and this happening. Sorry. So I just wanted to, that's the timeline. This is a month after the conversation happened. And I'm thinking about, I'm like, man, what do I do? And I was like, well, what do I want to do? I was like, I want to play music, man. And I realized that I have this gig coming up on the Friday, and I was just thinking about playing the show, and all of my stresses and all my worries in the world and everything just evaporated. It was like I was at peace, thinking about just playing music and performing and meeting people and having genuine conversations about life and helping them on their journey. And as soon as I thought about the gig, I just calmed down completely. And I was thinking back to it. I'm like, why did this happen? And I remembered that it went exactly back to that conversation. Like the moment I said to him that I planned to take music seriously, there was a twitch in his eye. And that twitch was the trajectory of an entirely new timeline, man. And that is ultimately what led to the way that he treated me, was me planting that psychic seed of saying, like, I'm going to fucking do music at some point and it's going to happen soon. And then it all just kind of came to me. I was like, wait a second. The moment that he had that eye twitch was the same day that I couldn't say those words, and then I wrote about them, and then I got offered this gig that is happening on this Friday, and then I came up with the hollowed out idea and all this kind of stuff. And the moment I had this realization, I just had this sheer moment of clarity. And to be completely transparent, I'm sure it's obvious, but I've partaken in a lot of psychedelic use over the course of my life. And this experience that I had upon this realization of all of the psychic inner workings and manifestations of how they came together into that exact moment, I had the most powerful out-of-body experience I've ever had in my life. It was like a fucking DMT trip on steroids, where like a void opened in the wall and I saw my entire future before me. I saw all of the people that I'm going to help. I felt all of the music that I would create and play and discover, and the YouTube channel. I saw absolutely everything before my eyes, and in this vision, it whatever it was, like, I'll just refer to it as God. What was conveyed to me was this all happened for a reason, and it is time to focus on this with absolute ferocity. Like, you need to double down on this shit 100% and fuck everything else. And this experience just changed me in ways that I've never felt before. And straight away, basically decided to completely abandon the tree industry, because that's what I was shown on this this experience, I don't know what to call it. But the entire premise of what I experienced and what I saw is that it showed me that all of these manifestation techniques that I've used, everything that's happened, it's all been put into place, and it's all been thrust into motion, not only by myself, but by my higher self, by the universe, by the powers that be in the aiding and the healing of the earth and of humanity, so to speak. And my small corner of that universe is helping me get to that place so that I can help the people around me just as much. And it was so funny, because it was like saying to me, it's like, you need to absolutely do this. Like, this is the thing that you have been working toward. This is the thing that you've been meditating on. This is the thing that you've been studying and practicing and exploring. And you are now at the point where it's time to do this. And it showed me the Redefining Spirituality podcast. It showed me all the previous videos. It showed me all of the previous band members. It showed me all the previous music, and all of just the things that I try, and the previously failed spiritual businesses, and everything that I tried to do. It showed me why I failed at them, and it was because I was prepping myself and learning and practicing to get to this point that I'm at this current point in time, which is the present moment, of which I need to start doing this with complete focus and complete dedication. And it was so funny, because the bloke I was working for, he offered me he didn't offer me one more. He asked me to come back and work for him on that Friday. And because for whatever reason, he thought that I was just going to accept what he did and just come back and work for him afterwards, which was like, he clearly doesn't know me very well. But it just so happened that this one day that I was meant to come back was the Friday, was also the day that this gig was. And I knew in that moment that that was the test. It was the test to say, how badly do you want this? Are you ready to put all your eggs in one basket and jump ship and trust the past 12 years of guidance and learning that you have done and practice that you have done and jump into this full force? Or are you going to submit and go back to the old life of doing the thing that you don't actually feel passionate toward, and suffer and always think about this life that you could have lived? And the answer was so obvious, you know what I mean? And so I knew something interesting was going to happen at this show. And so the main visualizations and the things that I try to manifest, that I always have, is that I want to succeed at music, and I want to help people. Those are the two things. That's the two things I ever care about. It's like, I want to play music, I want to travel the world, I want to meet people, and I want to help them discover themselves. I want to help them find hope in their lives. I want to help them believe in themselves and their ability to live the dream that they want to live. I want to help people say fuck it. You know, I want to help them take the risk that's going to get them to where they want to be. And the entire reason I'm making this video is because I don't have much money at the moment. I quit the career that I was making a lot of money doing, and I have completely jumped ship in order to pursue this completely. And it's not because I just feel like it or I don't care. It's because all of these psychic skills that I've just learned to develop over the years, all these muscles that I've worked, all of these practices I've done, everything I've explored has led to me doing this, because I'm doing this due to a psychic experience that I had. And I feel like in order to, and again, the reason I've failed in the past when it comes to making this content is because I wasn't fully believing in myself. But the entire premise of this video, of what I'm trying to do, just like the journaling, is I want to document the process of me achieving the things I'm saying I'm going to achieve. I want to share with you the exact practices that I personally use to manifest my own reality. I want to prove to you that this shit is real, and I want to show you exactly how to do it, and I want to do it for free forever, and I want everyone to have complete access to it. So at this point in time, if you're watching this video, chances are that I have very few followers, very few people believing in what I do, but I promise you that you're going to see some crazy shit happen in my life, and I'm going to have a full documentation of how I made it happen, so that you don't have an excuse to procrastinate chasing a dream anymore. Because if I can jump ship with little money and nothing but a vision that I had from a psychic experience, for me to literally jump ship with everything that I've done and fully pursue something that I've been shown due to a psychic intuition, you don't have an excuse. No one has an excuse. And I want to lead by example to prove that this is how it's done. And a very, very big part of that vision that I did see was that my entire success in this journey would happen because I'm sharing how to do this with everyone else. So I'll keep going because we're already half an hour in, but I knew something fantastic would happen at that gig. I didn't know what it was going to be, but it was probably the most important show of my life to date. And it came in the most unexpected and simple way. And basically we played the show, and so many small things kind of randomly happened at it. Like the band before us just happened to record the set. I just happened to have like a bunch of cameras that I bought and filmed the gig. And you know, we played the ever living fuck out of that stage, man, and filmed the whole thing too. And everyone, like, the reception was fantastic. And as I said, I knew something was going to happen at that gig. It was written in the stars, man. Everything that had happened, the betrayal, the vision, the owls, the gig, the writing about it, and you know, having to choose between the tree work and the show and everything that was going on. I knew that something was going to happen at this show that was very important. And it came in the form of this girl that I'd never met. And when the show was happening, like when we were there, I noticed her right away. I don't know what it was. There was something about her that I was fascinated by. And whenever I looked at her, she never once looked at me. And I was like, oh, okay, like she just like has no interest whatsoever in what I'm doing. And right before we played, she came up to the merch desk and was wanting to buy a shirt, but I couldn't quite hear her because it was like very loud, and she's a very soft-spoken woman. And I just said to her, I was like, oh, let's just wait till there's no noise to do this. And so we ended up playing our set, and after we finished, everything went fantastic. Got all the footage, got all the audio, and I've put all that together as well to make like a live DVD thing, which I'm really excited to release too. I'll make sure to do a proper announcement of that once I release it, which will be in the next couple of days. And but after we played, packed everything up, and you know, she was waiting by the merch desk and everything, and I came down and she wanted to buy a shirt, and I was like, oh, you know, who are you here to see? And she goes, oh, I was here to see this band, but also you guys. And I was like, oh, like, I've never met this person before. This is like the first time this has ever happened. And as we started talking more, she got into detail about, she's like, oh yeah, you know, I've like found your YouTube channel and I watched your Redefining Spirituality podcast and it really helped me. And you know, you talk about Viljata on it and I checked them out. They're an awesome band. They're really funny. They're really cool. And I'm like, oh wow, okay. Like I've, you know, this is not like a casual conversation going on. Like this is actually like quite in depth. So ended up selling her a shirt. Had a good conversation, just said hello to her friend and conversation in that. And, you know, the gig finished, we all went home and, you know, life goes on. And I was kind of, I was very anxious at this point because obviously so much had led up to this. There was an entire month worth of like energy psychic build-up leading up to this. Like I thought I was going to get struck by a bolt of lightning while playing guitar or something. That's how intense this was. I got home and I was like, oh man, like not really sure what happened, like what the result was. And then it dawned on me that you know, for the very first time someone was waiting at the merch desk to meet me and told me that I helped them. And that was it. You know, that was the thing. That was the thing I was hoping for. Like for the first time ever, someone waited for me to meet me and told me that I impacted their life in a positive way. And to me, like that's what being a rock star is. That's what a rock star is. It's someone who can help the people around them through their creativity. And it happened for the first time. And the moment I realized that, it was like everything changed. Like everything in my chemistry, in my DNA, in my soul changed. It was like, all right, this is the only thing I care about now. Like this is all I fucking care about is impacting people in a positive way. And many things have happened since, which like I'll make separate videos on them, just because I don't want this video to continue to go for too long. But life is fucking fantastic, man. Like I've never felt, like I still haven't sorted out my my financial situation and all that kind of stuff. I'm still in that limbo stage, but I've never felt so much peace and confidence in my life ever. Like things are so fantastic and I know that things are going to work out. And I know that this was just meant to be a life update video and I just got carried away explaining things, but it is a life update video. And, you know, it's been 2 weeks nearly since this event. So many more crazy fucking things have happened since then, but all of the same interesting, significant magnitude to me that has kept pushing me on this journey. And the very thing that I'm up to, just as quitting the job and saying that things were going to happen soon and seeing the owls and starting the podcast and playing the show and all that kind of stuff, the very next most important thing for me that I had to do was create this video for you to read and for you to see and for you to get involved with, to announce that I am back on YouTube, that I am going to be making videos consistently, that I am going to be offering free psychic readings, and not necessarily just readings, but helping people develop a psychic blueprint of the things that they need to do, and helping people understand their own psychic intuitions, and that it's not a gift that you have, you're not born with it. Well, you are born with it, that's my point. It's like another muscle of the body that you can work and develop and get better at. I'll leave you with that for now. There's a lot more to catch up on. I'll make another video. I don't know, I kind of want to be wise with the YouTube algorithm, but I'll make another video of the next update of what's going on. And then I also plan to make lots and lots and lots of content on psychic education and spiritual education. Long story short, I made a full psychic course about a year or two ago, which has 15 odd hours of video in it that gets all the way from, stop looking at your phone and go touch grass, all the way to dream state manifestation and interpretation of dreams and deep visualization and manifestation techniques. And I made an entire course about it. It was going to go up on Kajabi. It was going to cost thousands of dollars. I had this whole fucking plan going on, but it never felt like the correct time to release it. And the reason it never felt correct to me is because I wanted to make money from it. That was, and all of my previous psychic ventures, I was always charging for my service, and the one thing that I've learned is that that is not something that I feel comfortable doing, and that's the reason why nothing has succeeded for me in the past. Because at the end of the day, I guarantee you that if you listen to the things I have to say, if you implement the exercises and you really like put the effort in, you will find so much joy and so much peace and so much love and so much fun in your life. It's ridiculous what these things that I wish to teach you can do for you. And under no circumstances should that be behind a paywall. No way. I believe that everyone deserves to be happy. I deserve that everyone deserves to be fulfilled. I deserve that everyone deserves to have hope and a belief in themselves and understand that the frustrations and the angers and the terrors and all the fucking bullshit in the world, you can escape it and you can live a better life and you can create a reality for yourself which is beautiful and beautiful and harmonious. If only I could talk in harmony. Anyway, that's it for this video. I'll get on to making some more ones, but you're going to see a lot more from me all the time. I'll be possibly creating a new podcast. I haven't decided if I want to create a different channel for it or if I want to have it on this one, or I might just kind of have a double thing going on. But that's it for now. This is probably the 12th attempt at filming this video that I've had tonight because I just haven't known how to fucking articulate myself. But thank you for watching. Again, man, I've got so much content to make. You're going to be overwhelmed with the amount of material that you're going to be receiving on this channel. I can't wait to get involved with it, involved with you, with it, involved in, I don't know. I got my tongue pierced and it has stopped me from being able to talk properly. But give me a follow on Instagram, which is like Seraphic Wolf, or I haven't set my shit up properly, but I'll find a way for you to be able to contact me, and I'll be giving, again, book in a free reading. We'll get it done. There's always, at the end, of course, like an optional donation if you wish. The reason I do that is because, again, a lot of the time, like I know, like if someone does something for you, there's always a desire to kind of give back. So I'm like, okay, like if you wish to donate something to me, if you decide you want to pay me, I'm fully fine. I have bills to pay. I'm happy to do that. It probably goes toward dog food, if anything, for my dogs. But it's also so that if you are in a position where you can't actually afford for a service like this, if you're struggling to pay your bills, if you are in a financial situation that is not friendly, you don't have to feel compelled to do anything. Like what I care about is you. I care about your well-being. I care about how you are as a person and your development. And hopefully through a session, you'll be able to get yourself back on track towards becoming someone who can be more free with their wealth, not necessarily to pay for readings, but to aid the people around them. And once you get to a better place, come back for another reading. We'll do it again. We'll keep you going. I'm fine. I don't care. I'm happy to help. That's all I want to do. So thank you for watching. Sorry this one went for so long. I thought it would go for maybe 10 minutes, but you know me, I get carried away. So thanks for watching. Much love, and we'll chat soon. Peace.